There is a question so simple that it sounds stupid. Yet every philosopher who has ever lived, every neuroscientist staring at brain scans, every mystic who walked in the Himalayan silence, all of them eventually hit this same wall. What are you from the inside? Who experiences your experience? Because fundamentally, the human body is created from non-living atoms. But the arrangement in certain patterns creates something alive, something conscious. Does that ring a bell? As you're watching this, something is happening inside you that no instrument on earth can fully measure. Light is entering your eyes, sound is entering your ears, and it doesn't just disappear inside. It awakens something deep, something that even in your dreams, when you're partially dead, gives the sense of you. And somehow, thinking happens in the inside. When neuroscientists dug up inside the brain, inside every organ in the body to see where this inside is, never found. David Chalmers called this the hard problem of consciousness. Even if we mapped every single neuron, traced every signal, explained every behavior, we would still have explained nothing about why there is an experience at all. Why isn't all of this just a computation happening in the dark? Science can tell you what fires. It cannot tell you where is the trigger. The strangest thing about Vedic sages sitting cross-legged in forest 3000 years ago with no MRI machines somehow conceptualized consciousness further than we have. Not because they were mystical, because they were ruthlessly precise. They argued, before we can understand consciousness, we must uncover the forms that we mistake for consciousness. And what they found out was laid in Taittiriya Upanishad around 600 BC was a map of you. It revealed 5 layers, nested inside each other, each one suppler than the last, each one feeling like the real thing, a real you, until it isn't. They call it the Pancha Kosha, or the 5 sheaths. And I will take you through all 5 of them slowly, because what this map reveals about identity, about suffering, about why you feel lost even when nothing is technically wrong, it's something that modern psychology is only now beginning to catch up to. The first sheath, Annamaya Kosha. Food not only gives us energy and nutrition, it builds up our body. That is what is Anna, food. Maya, made of. Kosha, sheath. You are at your outermost layer, just matter, atoms to be more precise. And it is the body made of food. The same carbon that was once stars is now something that walks and speaks and watches YouTube videos. Most people mistake this layer for the self, the body, the face in the mirror. The thing that gets tired, sick, and will one day return back to the heart of the stars. This is the first case of mistaken identity. Making myself clear, I'm not undermining the body. It is not by any means irrelevant. It hurts when you stub your toe. It carries trauma in the muscles, grief in the chest, anxiety in the gut. But the thing is, when you had a dream last time, did you had a body in the dream? Well, you probably did. You moved, felt fear, ran from something, embraced someone. You even see yourself at times. But was there a mirror? Who was the third person who watched yourself? That dream body must have felt completely real from the inside. And then when you wake up, the body you thought was you was suddenly dissolved. And you were still there. In 1998, researchers placed a rubber hand in front of people while hiding their real hand. They stroked both hands simultaneously. Within minutes, people began to feel the rubber hand as their own. Within minutes, some flinched when the rubber hand was suddenly hit with a hammer. Meaning, the brain starts claiming a plastic object as a part of itself. So your sense of what is me is not fixed. It is constructed moment by moment, like your body in your dream. Exactly like the Annamaya Kosha that feels like the self, but which is not. It is the first costume. The second sheath, Pranamaya Kosha. Strip away the physical structure. Now what's left? The fuel that keeps us moving. Energy, aliveness, prana vaijivanam. Prana is indeed life. This is the layer that animates us. It is why a living body and a dead body look almost identical, and yet one of them is you and the other is a chair with a face. Breathe differently with exercises, yoga, and your nervous system will change. This change in your nervous system changes your emotions. Changes in your emotions changes thoughts. It is a hierarchy of influence moving inward. In this way, prana changes. Energy levels rise and falls after a meal, after exercise, after fear, after love. If yourself were prana, You not be the same person on Monday and Friday, on highs and lows, and yet you are. Something secretly persists despite the changes in prana. That's why this second sheath is still a sheath. The third sheath, Manomaya Kosha. Now we enter the territory that feels undeniably like the self. The mind, the stream of thoughts, reactions, memories, desires, fears, the constant inner weather. This is the layer most people live in completely. The one who says, I'm anxious, I'm happy, I'm hurt, I want this, I resent that. The voice is so constant, so intimate, so loud, it becomes impossible to separate from who you are. Neuroscientists call this the default mode network, the network responsible for self-referential thinking, for weaving narratives about who you are, for rehearsing past conversations, for imagining future scenarios. It consumes roughly 20% of your brain's energy even at rest. Even when you are doing nothing, your brain is burning enormous fuel just to maintain the story of you. And that story is not a recording, it's like an editing room. Your brain actively rewrites the past to maintain a stable sense of self. It prioritizes internal consistency over factual accuracy. It will alter the details, smooth over contradictions, even invent memory to keep the narrative intact. But in deep, dreamless sleep, the narrator goes silent. The anxious thoughts, the painful memories, the grinding self-criticism, none of it is present. And you are still you. You wake up and say, I slept well. I was aware of nothing. Who was aware of nothing? If you were the mind and the mind was off, who remained to notice its absence? You are not your thoughts. You are the space in which your thoughts arise. But we are not done yet. The fourth sheath, Vijnanamaya Kosha. This is the hardest one to see because it is the most convincing. The intellect, the part that says, wait, let me think about this clearly, let me reason, let me evaluate. The part that watches the mind and says, that thought was irrational, this feeling is disproportionate. Philosophers stop here. Rationalists stop here. Critical thinkers who see through the body, who distrust emotions, they plant their flag here for question, for discernment, a never-ending quest of curiosity. No doubt, Vijnanamaya Kosha is deeper, subtler, more stable. But still, it can be clouded by emotions, be improved, or can come on and off. Sometimes the most intelligent people make the stupidest mistakes. It's because ripples on the surface disrupts the inner layer. In deep sleep, the intellect is not active. Why? Because when the thoughts are turned off, the intellect cannot exist. It collapses. It is like the fire that cannot exist without fuel. But fuel itself cannot be called fire. Meanwhile, there is still something behind the curtain, because even when we turn off thoughts, emotions, intellect, we still survive, because something remains. The fifth sheath, Anandamaya Kosha, literally the bliss body. This is the layer you touch in deep meditation, in moments of genuine awe, watching a sunset, holding a newborn, standing at the edge of a mountain, in deep, dreamless sleep, musical immersion. The moment just after the orgasm, before the mind rushes back in. A state in which the sense of being a separate, struggling, narrating individual temporarily collapses. And what is left is something that feels more real than anything you have experienced while talking to yourself. The peacefulness without purpose, existence before the question of what to do with it. The Upanishad calls this Anandamaya, made of bliss, not pleasure, not happiness, but bliss. Pleasure has an object attachment. Bliss has none. And this layer too is a sheath. Because even bliss comes and goes. Even the deepest meditative state has a beginning and an end. Even awe fades. And you were blanketed by these 5 layers. You were there wearing masks of emotions, intellect, blissfulness, flesh and bones. And when all these masks are gone and you see through them, the real you comes to light. It is the one present before these sheaths caved it in and hid you deep inside where nothing can reach to extract you out. So, who are you? Beneath those 5 sheaths of mistaken identity lies the Atma, as the Upanishad calls it. You can call it the eternal light, the soul, the spark, or the plasma. That light cannot observe itself, not merely due to limitations of physics, but because the mirror and the image inside are its own creations. We are those images who looks back at us and in different shades, layers, and mistake the physical reflection for self. It's so deeply integrated that it feels like one, like we don't notice we are breathing air every second, but when it starts flowing as a wind, we know there is something. Our connection with the Atma, since birth, it's so intimate, it doesn't seem to exist, just until the moment it doesn't anymore. Because that's the same awareness that was present when you were 5 years old, present now, present in deep sleep when the mind went completely quiet. It is perhaps the one thing that has not changed through every version of you. That is not a mystical claim. It is the logic followed until its end. Now, here is what I want to leave you with. Most of your suffering, not all of it, but most, happens because you identify with the wrong sheath at the wrong moment. When you mistake yourself for the body, every aging, every disease feels like your ending. When you mistake yourself for the emotions, a bad mood becomes a bad you. When you mistake yourself for the intellect, you fight for your ideas like others fight for territory. And if your ideas are wrong, you are stupid. But none of these are you. They are like the weather seemingly causing the sky to look bad. The Kosha map does not ask you to escape any of this. It asks you to stop confusing the weather for the sky. And that shift in your perspective, just that, changes how you carry everything. And that starts now. Keep your inner light on.